Hello, hello, hello. Welcome again. A new day. It's a weekend, it's a Saturday, and I know that you're all chilling out, you're all enjoying your afternoon. But welcome to this show, Who Are You? With your host, Dr. Leah. Today we have a fantastic lady. Why? Because she's an award-winning global entrepreneur. She's a global energy consultant. She's a mentor, she's a coach, she's a 3 times published author, international speaker, and above, she's an humanitarian ambassador. And that is why we are bringing her, because she is empowering, advocating, and championing with forces for the underprivileged and more for this topic that we are going to talk about today, which is STEM. So with due, I don't want to steal her introduction, but I just want you to know that today, whatever we are going to get is so important for many people who have girls in their homes, young women, if you have a young lady in your neighborhood, in your community, this topic is for you. It is great encouragement. And our guest today is MIREILLE TOULEKIMA. She's coming all the way from Perth, Australia. Awesome, Perth, Australia. And she's taken this time, knowing that we know her timing is different from ours because I'm in Frankfurt, Germany. She's in Australia. So she is in the evening, actually in the night time, and I am in the afternoon. But all the same, she's taken the time to come and talk to us in this very important topic, STEM. So many people might know about it, some people don't know about it. And this is the time to be well informed, well equipped, well educated on what is this STEM. So allow me to welcome our guest today, MIREILLE TOULEKIMA. Hello.
How are you? That's really amazing to be here and have a good conversation with you on STEM today. And I'm really delighted to be here.
And I'm honored to host you today, because when I was just looking at your biography, I was like, wow, she's a woman, she's done it, she's the good guest for us today to come and encourage and empower a lot of women, because we've seen a lot of women, especially in this lockdown, where they are struggling, they don't know what next, but yet there are so many things that they can be able to do. We have girls in our homes, we have girls in our community that will be needing this empowerment. So MIREILLE, we are really grateful that you've taken the time to come on this show. Who are you to speak to us about this STEM? Because the main thing for us and the main thing for this show, Who Are You, is to bring great potential out of people. That is the motive, that is the momentum, that is the movement, bringing the best out of the people. And I'm very sure today you're going to give us a lot of good information, nuggets, and you're going to bring a lot of good potential for young girls and young women out there. So with due respect, please introduce yourself, what you do, and then we can pick up from there.
Okay, so like you said, I mean, it's very, very difficult to introduce myself in a very short time, because I've done so much, and sometimes I actually forget what some of the things that I've done. But the most important thing, it's to know that I'm a multifaceted woman. I mean, and I believe, that every single one of us has greatness we have greatness in us, and we have special gifts that we must use to engineer greatness wherever it matters. And that's not just me. And I believe that every single one of us has that. And some are not aware, but people like me know exactly where they can, have this influence, and how they can engineer this greatness, and how they can use their gift. So, and so my mission is really to encourage and inspire, all women and individuals in particular, to become the best version of themselves, and be able to replicate, in a way, and even better, what I can, do more that I've been able to do. So, and to do that, I wear, several hats. I was actually born in West Africa, in a country called Gabon.
Oh, wow.
And I was, I was versed into diversity, and in early in my, early in my childhood, because at the age of 14, I had to leave my, my parents. I went boarding in France, in a
Oh,
family,
wow.
in a French family there. So I was living with them, and already I got, the notion on diversity, because they were white people. So I had to adjust as a black, young girls to this new diversity. And this experience actually was the start of me starting to really look at people in a different way, and realizing that, a person that is different from you is actually enriching you. And if you look at it in a positive way, you learn so much from people who are different from you, and you shouldn't be afraid to actually, connect with people who are different, and add, and forget about all those preconceived ideas that people can put in you. And that's why, it actually opened the doors of, the world to me. And so I've been able to travel, around the world, and work in, in different countries, understand their culture, and also, speak their languages, because I've been able to learn those languages, learn their culture, and integrate myself in those cultures, and become richer, building on, my own culture, and become really, richer, while, integrating everything from somebody who is different from me. So just to, to stay in the context of STEM, I'm a global entrepreneur and an influencer in the STEM, in the STEM world. I champion and advocate for women, especially in STEM. I funded two STEM ventures. So one in oil and gas, so the MT Energy Resources in Perth here, and another one in Uganda, which is more a social venture to promote, women and girls promote the women and girls in STEM, and make sure that women and girls start to embrace and be involved in STEM as well. Because for me, it's also a key economic empowerment, because we know, and you probably know, that, most of those career in STEM are really well remunerated. So in terms of, capital and being able to come up and have a place economically, it actually helped. And another project that I really like and I got involved into is that I'm a council member of FGM to STEM, FGM standing for female genital mutilation. So it's an initiative to drive STEM deep down, in those marginal area where they still do the mutilation, so female genital mutilation, and really, try through partnership with energy stakeholders to end that, and help, girls pick up some new skills in STEM, and really fight the FGM and early marriage and teenage pregnancy and all those very difficult, still very difficult cultural things that they still do, and that actually not help, the girls and women to find their place in society. And it's this project is happening in Kenya under the Women in Energy Africa, which I'm part from. So a lot of work using STEM and trying to bring, women up and empower them so that they take their place in society.
So, wow, that is so beautiful. You have, I mean, I cannot even begin to imagine or even calculate all these awesome things that you've been doing out there, And I'm like, you left your home when you were 14 years to go into a foreign country in a boarding school. And this kind of gave you a lot of a lot of things to look at differently, and learning new things, and how you could take these new ideas and implement them and use them also in the future to empower other people. So now as we are getting to discuss STEM. I know there are some people who know what it is. Some people don't even understand what it is. The reason why I can say that, because, a couple of years ago, I never knew what STEM is. I didn't even understand why STEM. So now having you and knowing that you have been, it is your baby. It is like your baby that you've taken, and you're nurturing and you're mothering with all the energy that you have. Tell us, what is STEM and why STEM?
So STEM in the West stands, it stands for science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. So it's really, when we talk about STEM, we talk about everything that is part of those, science, technology, engineering, and math. And we know that we are now into the fourth revolution, industrial revolution. So those sector and those industry are really key for us, because they actually affect every single area of our life. And that's what is really important, to, even if you're not an expert, to understand what it is and what it can do for you, because it can really empower a lot of people, especially what I was talking about, the remote area in Kenya where we have this project. It's actually helping quite a lot to bring up, some people who are actually being left out from the development so far, and give them, this new hope and those new skills, so that they can actually position themselves in this fourth industrial revolution time, and not be left behind.
Wow, fantastic. It's awesome to hear about all this, and now understanding better of, what STEM is, people understanding, what does STEM stand for? How did you come to STEM, and what intrigued you to become an ambassador of STEM? Tell us your journey of how you came to STEM, because I know that you are an engineer, which is awesome. Is something, I veto for a lot of young people to take, professions that are long lasting, that are long term in the market. Tell us a little bit of your journey, how you came to STEM, and, what was your experience?
So, when I was young, I always, even at school already, I liked a lot of, especially mathematics and, but I also liked, languages. But I must say, I got really influenced by my dad. My dad was a mechanical engineer himself. And so I got this influence. And so he passed away, and, I was studying, technology. But then when he passed away, I had to basically, say, okay, that's it for me for school. I was at the bachelor level, so I need to, find a job somewhere, wherever I can. And so I got into the oil and gas industry at that time, back in Gabon, because that's where they needed people. And having been involved in technology, for them, it was easy to retrain me as an engineer, because they were using a lot of technology. And with, this background in technology, they helped me. And I had to go through a certain number of months of training to be able to start working as an engineer, especially on the operational side. So that's when I started. And then, at the beginning, it was very challenging. I mean, there've been a lot of things, being a woman of color, and also, being not very familiar with the industry. So those were really the key challenges. But as things were going, and as I started to really believe in myself, and really deciding what I wanted to do, and deciding that I really wanted to have an impact in this industry, take the challenge of being, a woman of color, a minority, an African, because at that time there were not a lot of African women actually involved into the industry. So that was my challenge, telling myself, you know what, I'm here, it means that I can do really something great, you know, and position myself as a role model for other women who look like me. And that's, you know, that's the motivation that, you know, that I've based all the work that I've done in STEM. I started to get involved and help, you know, bring STEM subject to life, and, you know, and demonstrate, you know, the value of STEM in life and in careers and in women careers in general, and with a focus on African women, and started to really campaign for women to embrace STEM, you know, and get involved in a lot of activities wherever I was based, because I was obviously traveling a lot with my work, getting involved, and, you know, and lending my voice to the cause, and make sure that, you know, I have an impact on girls and women's learning and enjoyment of STEM, and, you know, giving career talks, helping them, you know, advising them or mentoring them or coaching them, and really helping to bring the practical side of STEM, because sometimes when we hear about STEM, we think that it's something so difficult and so out of, you know, that actually not really impact us, and yet it impact us all the time. And it's important that that, you know, with our voice as engineer, as people in STEM, that we could come and talk to people, and at a very, you know, a very basic level, and make them understand where STEM has an impact and where STEM can, you know, can help them. For example, I mean, in the oil and gas, sometimes people say, oh, oil and gas, what it is all about. But then when you tell people that, okay, it has an impact, you know, whatever I do when I extract oil and gas, the product that I extract after that is going to be used in petrochemical, and petrochemical mean, you know, you have your soap, you need soap. So, I mean, that's part of it. You need your shampoo, you need to put, you know, you need to put petrol in your car. So really link, you know, all those STEM activity to something practical that people understand, so that they can see the value and can start to have an interest, and really start to get a little bit more curious about it, and get more involvement from them.
Wow, awesome. And I really like how you have, you know, you kind of have put things to connect with this STEM. Like, for example, understanding that STEM is something that you can bring practical. You have to connect with the end product. It's not just about the name, because just as you said, many people hear oil and gas engineering, people hear math sciences, and they believe, oh my goodness, I have to be that mathematician, I have to be that perfect person. Yet you need only to get started, and then you can learn step by step as you go in. And just understanding that even the things that you use practically in your home, they are being manufactured. They are an extract of what is happening within that chemical exchange, within the oil and gas, within, you know, places they're being manufactured. And that is awesome. Wonderful. Tell us a little bit of your experience working in this, you know, we always say they are male dominant career, because it's only men. A lot of time we find a lot of men in this, you know, in these industries, because just the words, you know, engineering, science, it always feels like a man thing. I have to man up. I have to be to be there. Tell us a little bit about your experience, you know, other than the way you've already put it about, you know, being you know, a minority, being a woman. What other experiences did you incur that gave you more motivation to veto for STEM?
I think one of the thing that is worth actually mentioning is that, you know, when I was at school, you know, and studying science or whatever, we had a lot of women, but somehow when you go further, those women disappear, and, you know, you start to ask yourself, but they were smart women. They understood the subject. They understood what it was all about. But why are they dropping out? And, you know, and sometimes what you realize, and I went through it, is you start to question yourself, because you see men are actually different. They go into something, and even when they don't know, they're still confident to keep
Yes.
trying and go forward. Whatever mistake they are doing, whatever stupid, sometimes they make stupid mistake, but they don't stop. They keep going, and they push, and they ask for help. And for us women, it's sometimes very different. And I went through this process, is that you want to do it on your own, and
Yes.
you really want to make sure whatever you do is perfect, and really, you know, not be proactive in a way, and embracing failure, because you know it's challenging. You're gonna fail at some point, but you don't want to go into it because you say, oh no, I don't want to fail because men are gonna judge me. Or so you create this environment for yourself where you actually deterring yourself, because you want to stay safe. And then you end up being frustrated, because you see some of the men who are not always, more smarter than you, actually go places. And and sometimes we just have to realize that we are there for a reason. And it's important that we believe in ourselves, to believe we believe in, in the fact that God has put us there. It means that we have value, and it means that we can create an impact, and a positive impact. So I went through this, this process, and it's only when I decided, and I talked to myself and say, you know what, Mireille, you're here. Even if it's hard, even if you've been challenged, even if people are questioning you, even if you are in minority, you are here for a reason. So get going and start to impact the industry. Start to become your best in the industry, and start to create the best in the industry. And that's where I started to really take off, because I had this, assurance, I had this self-esteem, and whatever was coming my way, even when I was really failing hard, I would always tell myself, it's just one part of the story. My story is not finished. I have to continue. I have to work harder. I have to, make sure that I connect, because another thing that sometimes women, we don't do, we don't create those, those networks. And as we go further, we need networks. We need people who can sponsor us. And it's not just about our skills. And that's key. And another challenge was when I started my family. So I got married and started to have children. It became very difficult for me, because a lot of the thing had to go on the site. So it became very difficult for me. But the strategy that we had, and my husband supported me, is to make sure that we get jobs in countries where we could have help. So cheap help. So for example, have a nanny or anything that we could have supporting us while I was working, or go part-time. But I never actually gave up. I just told myself that, starting a family is part of the process, is part of my life. What I have to do is maybe slow down at a certain point, and then when the children are grown up enough, then I can start again, and really accelerate whatever I wanted to do, but still be focused on what I wanted to accomplish in the industry. So there are challenges. I think it's they always come. It might be more than a man working in the industry, but I think we have to stay focused, and focus on the result that we bring, and focus on us being growing and developing. So which means we have to continue to learn at any step, and whatever challenge we go through, believe that we can go through this challenge, and make sure we get those networks. And even if we don't have women mentoring us or coaching us, get the courage to ask a man because that's what I did as well to get the support. Really go to some of the men and ask them to formally, coach me and mentor me. And it worked. It was excellent because at least they could actually advise me, because sometimes I couldn't understand how certain, some of the men were functioning, and they will actually help me to know, what is the attitude and what does it mean. And then it becomes really, easier for me, and the fact that I could actually deliver tremendous result as well. They would be the first one to advocate for me and to sponsor me in anything that I wanted to do. So it is those are, the key challenge is really make sure that, you don't get distracted by whatever challenge you have. Continue to learn and get some, get some advocate, get some coaches, get some mentors, women or men, and keep going and decide that you're gonna make it. Because sometimes we find when you're challenged by people, or when people don't believe in you, you start to find excuses. And excuses are not gonna lead you anywhere. You have to prove those people wrong, and then that's the only way that you can thrive, and that's the only way that you can make it in an industry where you are a minority, and where when you thought that because you were late on at the starting point, you can't be there at the arrival, which is not true.
Wonderful. I am before I just say something, I just want to welcome people who are watching. We have Janelle Harris all the way from the stage. She's watching. She's saying, beautiful, you're amazing. We have Linda Walker. We have Janet Alexander. Thank you guys for joining in. Thank you for watching. Anyone who is joining in, please tell us from where you're joining in from, so that we can send a shout out to you. And also, Mireille, the way you have said, you've put a lot of things that really resonate, and I really resonated with a lot of these things. Being able to bring your confidence, don't focused, ask for help, get mentors. Don't be afraid just because you are in a place where only men are dominating. Because I can relate with a lot of these things, because in my career, in my industry where I am in right now, you are meeting with professors, you hear those big titles, and you're like, oh my God, what am I supposed to say? You are in a foreign country, you're thinking, my goodness, will they understand the little language that I've learned? But when you're confident, people are out there to help you. People are out there to support you, because you show them that you have the interest to integrate. You have the interest to take this thing to the next level. It is not about what your education is bringing with you. It is about your interest, because you end up learning a whole different realm of what you even thought, and you find yourself growing in that industry. So also to see how you have been able to bring this out, to be able even to become an ambassador of STEM and encourage our young ladies, our young women, because it doesn't matter where they are from. It doesn't matter what level they are in right now. They can always start from somewhere. So we are going to take a short break. And then when we come back, we will be getting some more insights from Mireille, who is an ambassador of STEM and an ambassador of female genital mutilation in Africa. She's an ambassador of so many institutions, and she's really empowering a lot of girls, a lot of young women. She has a STEM organization in Uganda, in Australia, in Kenya. So she is going global to support. And so we need to be standing up as women to support our young girls, our young women, because we have girls in our homes, we have girls in our community, we have young women in our homes, we have young women in our communities, and we need to be showing them that they need to be positioning themselves into those places where they will have long-term economical status, they will have long-term presence to put into place to bring out the best out of them. So stay tuned, don't go anywhere, just bring a new cup of coffee or a glass of water, and we will be back in a short while.
actually the result of a long journey in the oil and gas industry, working worldwide. And so I've been in this industry for 20 years. And like Deborah was saying, there's a big significance in the 20 years because I got in this industry because I lost my dad. And at some point I just had to stop going to school. I had my bachelor. I stopped because I had to find a job, and then I got into the industry. But I managed to discover the industry and really like it. So this book is really represent a lot for me. I dedicate it to my dad actually, and also really putting together all that I've learned working in the industry as well. So through this journey, what I've really realized is that when you really want something, you have to go and get it. And going and get it doesn't mean just sit down, have the idea. It's also just put a plan, implement it. Really have to start going and inform the young generation that there are opportunities, and they should actually try to embrace some of those technical career in the oil and gas industry, and that's something that needs still to be done and strategized and start really at a very young age, because the industry is growing in Africa, so we will need the workforce, and it's
So welcome back. We are on the show, Who Are You? A show that is meant to bring the best out of each and every one of us. A show that entertains guests and speakers who are bringing impact, who are bringing change into our nations, into our communities, into wherever you are, whoever you are. This show is for you. So our guest today is MIREILLE TOULEKIMA. We have gotten a little bit of insight who is MIREILLE and what she's doing. And our topic today is STEM. MIREILLE has spoke about the activities that she's been doing. We have seen also in the video how she started the STEM in Uganda, in Kenya. She's also doing it in Australia. MIREILLE is originally from Gabon, and she moved from her father's house, went to a boarding school in France at the age of 14. That is a lot of courage. I went to boarding school in my own country, so I can even not relate to somebody moving away from their country going to a boarding school in another country. MIREILLE has been able to build and to encourage a lot of women and young girls in STEM. Her motivation is because she sees how this industry has changed her life and how it can change the life of other young women, young ladies, you girls, wherever you are. So as she continues to speak to us about STEM and the things that she is continuing to do as an ambassador, as a mentor, a coach, and an author, MIREILLE has published a couple of books. And today we are going to talk about a book that is specifically connected with this topic, STEM. And this book is called Local Content Key Enabler for Oil and Gas Projects in Emerging Markets. She's worked as an engineer. She's been working in oil and gas, and now she has her own consultant company that she is mentoring, and she is also consulting the gas and oil industries. So, MIREILLE, speak us through the Local Content Key Enabler for Oil and Gas Projects in Engineering, and why did you choose to write this book, And I know your audience was the oil and gas industry, but I also believe that there was also another audience for this book.
Yeah, I think the audience was the oil and gas industry, but more related to developing countries and emerging market. Why? Because, especially in Africa, we have a lot of countries who are, who have, oil and gas operations, and we've seen in countries like Nigeria or all the West Africa, who's been the pioneers in this industry, that things have not always been really good, especially for the economy and for people. We've seen gap between rich people who could actually, earn money from this industry, and poor people widen. So and that's where local content comes in. Local content comes in to say, so far what was happening is that, when international companies come and, to do exploitation in a country, there are certain regulation and certain things that they have to follow. And so far, a long time ago, it was just about, paying taxes to the government and really royalty, and that's it. They were not really involved in what was going on in the country. And what we realized is that giving money was not actually helping the country, because people would take the money and nothing would happen. No schools, nothing will happen. So that's why, with local content, what we're trying to do is that instead of giving money, what we really want is that when companies come, they get more involved in terms of helping to put, infrastructure, helping to pass the knowledge, and really make sure that, the education is adapted so that, local people can get involved in the industry, instead of having people coming in and not really doing the transfer, no transfer of technology, no transfer of knowledge, because then, the country doesn't gain anything. And that's why, I wrote this book by, what I wanted to say is that, with this industry, we need to make sure that we generate added value for the country, and not just for the government. And then it means more involvement for people who are involved in the industry, making sure that, they listen to the communities, they work with the communities, they work with the people, and they really, understand the education system, and see how they can create, a connection with the education system, so the education system can actually train people who are going to take over this industry. And then you start to create jobs, you start to create, and in your supply chain, make sure that, local entrepreneur have their share, they can actually contribute as well in the industry. So it's really about making sure that the oil and gas is generating something that's actually going to create a sustainable economy, and diversify and sustainable economy. And that's what I'm talking about in this book, is that, it's not just about coming and extracting, the oil and the gas. It's also about connecting with the people who are living there and understand their problem, and trying to bring solution to their problem by implementing certain things that are going to last and going to be sustainable, instead of just giving money to the government.
Awesome. And I just love how you've put everything together, because empowerment is not just about going and taking. Empowerment is about going and giving knowledge, bringing some sustainability, growing the people, and connecting with the people of where empowerment is supposed to be going. And I just love the purpose of this book. It has touched both sides. It has touched the people who are going to do, extracting oil and gas, and it has touched the people who are welcoming the extractors. But again, understanding that it is not just coming to extract, but it's also coming to empower them. It is coming to bring knowledge. It is coming to bring, local entrepreneur business to grow and begin to learn how to sustain this economical, side of the business, so that it is not just for the government, but it is also to benefit the people and the local community and the people of this country as it is. So we have Lakisha Posh watching from the stage. She's just said that STEM is a very useful and successful and for the success of all students. And he says she teaches that actually, which is very good. Thank you, Lakisha. We thank you, J.R. Renee, who is watching us. We thank you, Eva is watching from South Africa. She says it is important to empower the local communities. So we are in agreement that our local communities need to be empowered. They don't just need to receive money, because they will not live on that money. They need to receive projects and schemes and knowledge that they can multiply on and grow, and have also something that they can say our next generation is able to live and continue the business and continue the legacy, continue the light, and continue to shine. We have also Lakisha saying she's enjoying the show. Fantastic, Mirella. Diversification is the key. So we have people who are actually, in understanding of what is the importance of STEM, and just going deep into your book and understanding what was the book written for, because some people would see and think, no, that is just a book for oil and gas, but it is a book for each party. It is a book for somebody who wants to be an entrepreneur in those communities. It is a book for the entrepreneur who is bringing empowerment and who is bringing this new technology, and be able to not just bring it, do it and go, but bring it, teach it, be able to leave this knowledge and impact these people to be able to grow from where they are, and so that they can be able to enable the rest of the community. Awesome. We're going to make a short break, and then we're going to go deep into the next topics, and go into the leadership. And I know created a lot of leadership through the STEM, how other women and young girls can begin to create leadership also amongst their youth, because sometimes they forget that even when you're in school, you can create a leadership where people see what you're striving for, where is your direction, and you can direct the ones who are growing behind you to see this is the direction. So we are going to make another short break, and when we come back, we're going to have a lot of information from Mirella, who is going to walk us through what exactly is this leadership that she herself has manifested, and how she did it, and how it is also impacting our young girls, our women, and how it is connecting to STEM in general. Hello, welcome back, welcome back. We are talking about STEM. Our guest is MIREILLE TOULEKIMA from Australia. So we are glad that we are tackling this topic. We are empowering young women, young ladies, girls in our communities. We are empowering our nations, especially our African nations, where they have all these resources, yet they are not able to gain the knowledge and be able to sustain the resources for the betterment of the nations and the communities. MIREILLE is an ambassador of STEM. MIREILLE she's an entrepreneur, she's an author, she's a speaker. She has been able to write this book, Local Content Key Enabler for Oil and Gas Projects in Emerging Markets. You might think it's a book for oil and gas, but it's a book for all schemes. Why? Because she has tackled nuggets that are needed for both parties, nuggets that are needed for, the countries that are being developed, regions that are being empowered. And they are also tackling this enablers, empowerment people to understand that as they go there with empowerment, let it be an empowerment that is sustainable. People can work, even when you leave, they have a legacy to carry on. They understand what they're supposed to be doing so that they don't fail when you are out, but they will shine even more when you are out, so that you can look back and say, yes, the baby has become an adult.
Exactly.
Mireille, we have seen so much from you. We are learning so much. It doesn't matter, but we are learning so much because only through networking, only through supporting each other is the only best key that we can prevail, we can shine. And this show is a show called Who Are You? Because we tackle more to have people to bring the best out of them so that they can understand who are they. And that is why I also wrote the book about who are you? Beginning to have self-realization. Who am I? What can I do? I am more than what I think because I have a purpose and I am valuable. Mireille, you have created a leadership method. Amazing. The leadership method is called DARE. Walk us through DARE and tell us what is DARE.
Okay, so the leadership, you know, that I created is called DARE, and DARE is standing for decide, act, review, and expand. So decide. Why? Because I think everything that we start, you know, it starts with a decision. We have to decide something, and it's something that, you know, we do even unconsciously. When we start something, we have to decide that we're gonna do something. We have to decide that we have the courage to do something. We have to decide that we have greatness inside of us and we're going to unleash this greatness. So it's a decision process. Everything starts with a decision. And then, you know, when you make this decision, obviously you need to do something, because it's one thing to decide, yes, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, but you're going to be judged on your action. So you need to act. You need to start putting a plan together. You need an action plan together to be able to do what you want to do. And the action part is very important. Obviously, you know, when you act, when you do something, when you have the courage to take some risk, there's a result out of it. So it might be failure, like we call it, it might be a success. But if it's, you know, you still need to see, okay, this is the decision that I made. This is the action that I has taken. Where am I? Am I where I wanted to be, or I'm completely off track? And that's the review part that you need to have. And then, you know, if you're okay with, you know, with where you are, then you have to expand. Expand means you have to take another decision, a decision that has a higher level of risk, so that you can stretch yourself and stretch your comfort zone. And that's the expansion part of it. Otherwise, you know, if you're not happy, you have to go back to the drawing board as a decision, and, you know, and amend your decision or take a different decision, so that you can start all over to go, you know, and reach your goals. So it's really, you know, a circular process that we go through all the time. All the time. It's just a matter of, you know, understand really, you know, where, you know, what are the key action, what are the key steps, and try to integrate it into our life and understand that that's the only way we can get to the next level of our greatness, when we start to take ownership of our own decision, of our own life, take action, which is the step to bring us there, review and learn from our failures or learn from our success, whatever it is, and expand, you know, expand as a human being, continuous learning, continue to take risks, continue to extend our comfort zone, continue to become the best version of ourselves. And that's what this process, you know, that's what this process is all about. And, you know, and I think, you know, sometimes we try to think too much, but it's a simple process. It's a simple process that we can apply, and the results are tremendous. If we really, you know, if we're really conscious of that, the results are tremendous, and we can actually become the best that we can be.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm really enjoying this. And, you know, just having you talk about this leadership method there. You decide. It is like you take, when you people have been talking a lot about vision boards, and this is kind of a vision board. You take one, you decide, I am taking this action today. I want to be an author. I want to be empowerment. I want to be a coach. You say this is what you want. You have decided. Then you act on it. That means you begin to put the steps that you need to act that. And then you go and you review. What have I done from the beginning? I decided. And what I like about what you touched on is that, sometimes we start things and, it doesn't move very well. Most important is to go back to the board, because it's a cycle that we go through. So you go back to the board and look at what is it that I did not tackle, that did not take action on, that led to me not succeeding. Then you can begin the cycle again. It doesn't mean that time is going away. It just means that you're deciding to put the table in a different manner, how you want it to be. Then E for expanding, meaning you're expanding on what you've already taken action with. So it can be everything that you have put on your vision board. It can be your multiple businesses. It can be, your multiple coaching methods. It can be everything that you have put in your vision. And I really like this. I hope people are taking notes. I hope people are getting this method of leadership, because we don't take the chance to begin. It is like, dare yourself to do something today. Dare yourself to stand up and say, I am changing the tables. I am impacting this community. I might not be a millionaire, but I know with one action at a time, I can bring great changes, because it is about empowering people. It is not about the money. It is about empowering people, because when you empower them, then you begin to grow, and every other thing will be falling into place. So I'll just read some comments that we have been receiving. We have Tamika Thomas. She is watching from Canada. She is saying she loves this dare. Effa says, wow, this is music to her ears, because the miracle comes through action. Everything starts with a decision. So people are really getting to understand what we are supposed to be doing. We are supposed to begin to dare ourselves. Take action. Take action. Stand up and say, today I will start. It doesn't matter whether you will fulfill it tomorrow, 1 year's time, 10 years time, because Rome was not built in a day. Awesome. We're really enjoying this topic. And Mireille, we are really blessed with the things that you have given to us. Even me personally, I am encouraged, because like I say, I have a girl in my house. I have both sexes. So I have a girl and I have a boy. When I was talking about real men talking, I knew I was speaking for this young man. Now I know I'm speaking for this young girl, because we need to empower them, because they are the only ones who can go out there and empower their generation. We are not there. Mireille, talk to us about what moves you about women. I know you have a daughter.
Yeah, I have. Yeah, I only have daughters, so it's a duty for me, because I don't have boys. I only have daughters, and it's really for me, to be a role model to them, and to be a role model to any girl, any young woman in the world. And that's what, that's really what I'm working on, because like you said, I've worked in a male-dominated environment, and I've not always been able to have a role model to follow. So what I decided is that, I'm going to be the role model that I'm looking for, and it's going to be the role model for other, girls in a way. And that's what moves me, because I really, when I think about it, I always tell myself every day, I have to be the best version of myself, because those girls are watching. They are watching. And, if I really want them to be the best that they can be, I have to show the example. I have to show the example. I can't tell them to become the best. I can't tell them to dare if I don't dare myself. So it's really what's grounding me into everything that I do. It's really making sure that, they have a role model, because I didn't, so they have a role model, I didn't professionally, I didn't, but in my life, obviously I had my mom, my grandmother, and other, inspiring lady that I came through my life. But professionally, I was missing one. So I don't want any other woman who come in this STEM environment that actually not, don't have any role model that they can lean on, because I think it's important that they get, something already, so that they can actually accomplish more than I've been able to accomplish, because that's really what I want, is that, take my experience, learn from it, but make, something better. That's what I've been able to do. And that's what I'm asking all the girls that actually look to me, do better than me, do more than me, and you're going to make me happy.
Wow, wow. Awesome. Be a role model of that person you're looking to be. Be a role model to yourself and to the others. A role model that you're looking up to, so that the other can look up to you. Taking action, being the best version of yourself. People, being the best version of yourself, because you are valuable, you have a purpose, you have a calling, and that one of yours is also an impact. It can create a great impact, doing it better than what we have done before. Awesome. Awesome, Mirella. So tell us, what legacy would you want to leave?
Okay, so that's always, that's always a key one. And whatever I've done, in every platform that I've created, I mean, personally, socially, or anything, it's always been about, making sure people understand that, and I've talked about it at the beginning. They understand that they have greatness inside of them, and they don't have to look outside. They have this greatness, and they can do extraordinary things. They have special gifts that they've been given, and they have to start to use those gifts. So really, my legacy is about making sure that, to leave, the world better than I found it. And I always repeat it: make sure people, individual, and people who are around me, people who are following me, they understand that they should not leave anything on the table of life, nothing. And really connect with their greatness, unleash their greatness totally, and make sure that, they have their place, and they can be the best version of themselves. And what I'm doing is really, trying to empower as many women and individuals as I can, and help them to understand that, they have the tools, they have everything, they are unlimited, and they can become the best version of themselves, and reach self-actualization. And, and that's really what I really want to do every day. That's what I try to do, one woman at a time, one individual at a time, make them understand that it all starts with them. They have the power. They can step into their power. They can step into their greatness, but they shouldn't leave anything, nothing. They should really expand as they can, and really engineer greatness wherever they are and wherever it matters.
Awesome, awesome. Enjoy your greatness wherever you are and wherever it matters. Don't leave anything, any tables unturned, so that you can say, I did all, I walked my purpose well, and I have left a legacy where there are people running with the torch. Awesome, Mirella. Thank you very much, Mirella, for taking this time to be on this show. Who are you? We've been blessed. We have learned a lot, and I'm very sure even those who will be watching the replay, they will really be blessed, because this topic is a topic that we need to be discussing it more often, and getting this awareness that every individual has a purpose. Girl, child, young women, wherever you are, it doesn't matter what mistakes you've done. It doesn't matter where you are at your level right now. What matters is, dare yourself, dare to take the small steps, dare to put it into action, dare to begin to expand, and see how this baby will grow and become an adult, where you will be looking at and be feeding from and saying, thank you that I was able to dare and take that steps. So people, we thank you very much for those who have been
Fantastic.
watching live with us. Mireille, please tell us how people can get in touch with you, those who want to work with you, those who want to understand more about STEM, and how they can also get your books, Local Content Key Enabler for Oil and Gas Projects in Emerging Markets.
So, I mean, you can, my email, you can email to me. That's my last name, Toulekima, @gmail.com. So you can, email me. I'm on Facebook. So I have my personal Facebook page under Mireille Toulekima. I have my Fan Boost page, which is Mireille Toulekima Global Leadership. I also have groups. I have a group called Mireille Toulekima Tribe. So you're welcome to join another group called the Greatness Engineering Movement. You're also welcome to join as well. I'm on Twitter. I'm on LinkedIn. LinkedIn and Facebook are actually the platform that I'm very active on. There's also Instagram. And so I'm everywhere. I also have my website, which is the two website actually. So the www.mireilletoulekima.com and the second website is www.thegreatnessengineer.com. So you can find me almost everywhere. And please don't hesitate, to reach out. And help as well, because I talked about the two projects that I have. So the STEM Queen in Uganda, and I really want to extend this, this program wherever we can. So we're extending in Australia this year, and especially in the indigenous community, and I'm really looking forward to extend, in remote communities as well in Africa. And we also have the FGM to STEM, which is the female genital mutilation to STEM. So any area where there's still female genital mutilation, please reach out to me so that we can put the same program in place wherever it's necessary. So thank you so much, Dr. Leah, for having me today.
Thank you very much. So as we are ending our show, we will be coming on next week on Thursday and Friday. We have great guests who are coming. We are all global. So we are going to have a guest from the US. We're going to have a guest from Nigeria, Africa. So people just stay tuned. Who Are You Show is bringing you guests who are bringing impact into your community, bringing impact into your home, bringing impact into your country. Don't forget to subscribe on our YouTube channel as well, where you can share the videos. You can see the past videos. Even here on Facebook, connect with us. Make sure that you have a reminder for our next shows that are coming up as they go up, so that you don't miss these wonderful things that are happening out there. Because even in lockdown, great things are happening. People are empowering nations. People are empowering communities. We don't want to cry and say one day that we could have done a lot during lockdown and now business is back and we don't know what to do next. So take the opportunity to dare yourself, again, I repeat, because only when we dare ourselves, we are able to bring great impact in our places of work, in our communities, in our nations, in our homes, and we become those role models that we are looking to have, so that other people will look to us to be role models. So until next time, this is your host, Dr. Leah, on this show, Who Are You? And our guest, Mireille Toulekima. We say thank you for watching us. Until next time, stay tuned and don't forget to connect, because only connection, networking will bring us forward and will develop greater things that we do not even imagine. Thank you very much. Stay blessed. Come on, the street.